Guys, we are back with another round. Am I the asshole? I love these so much. Not gonna lie. Love doing them. All right. Am I the asshole for keeping my engagement ring after a divorce? Already don't like that. Already not sounding good. Okay. Ready? I, 35 female, was married to my ex-husband, 36 male, for 10 years. We divorced 3 years ago. We have a son together who's 5 years old. Our divorce wasn't messy. No one cheated, and we agreed on everything when we divorced. We co-parent our son, and he's an active father. In the divorce, it was written that I would keep my engagement ring. It was a family heirloom from my ex-husband's family, and would one day give it to our son. My ex has a new girlfriend. I really like her, and so does my son. I invite them both over for all the events involving our son and holidays. They just had a baby girl together. I'm very excited for them. Both my son and his dad are excited that they have a new baby in the family. My ex-husband sat me down and asked me to give him the ring so that he could pass it down to his daughter since it's an heirloom, and that way it would stay in his family forever. I reminded him that the ring is specifically in our divorce agreement and belongs to our son. He suggested that we change that, and he passed down something different to his son. I said no. I've been getting nonstop calls and texts from him now about how that's unfair, and it's because at the time he also didn't have a daughter. So am I the asshole?
No.
Wow.
Floor is yours.
Yeah.
No. I'm beefing with the husband. I don't even know.
Really?
Yeah.
It's my ring?
Yeah.
Really?
It's written.
It's written. Yeah,
We made a promise.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can move on with your life, but what's written is written. You must respect your promises.
Right.
He's definitely the asshole.
Really?
Maybe I'm biased as a woman. Probably not. I think I'm right.
How much do you value the family heirloom in his family though?
But she has the willingness to give it to their son.
Right.
And that was agreed upon.
Right. It's still going to
But
be in his
now-
family, right?
It is still your family, unless you've completely disassociated her. That's your ex-wife. She still deserves a level of respect, in my opinion.
Right.
And could it be that, he has a new partner and it's like, I'm good, I don't need you at all, like take care of the kids, but you made a promise to me.
Right.
And you're gonna respect that. He's the asshole.
But yo, them engagement rings just don't come cheap, you know? Maybe he's just trying to like...
You should have thought about that before you write up an agreement.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just like giving somebody a present and being like, actually, can I have it back?
Can I see that?
Yeah, it's not nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that because not only like did they agree upon that when the son gets married, he's gonna pass it on to his significant other, but it's also written in agreement. Like you consciously, when you were getting your divorce settled, because divorce is messy, right?
Yeah.
You consciously made that decision that it's hers until X reason, right? So you made that in a place where you knew that was going to be the case. And for you as a man to come back and take steps backwards, I think that kind of diminishes who he is as a person.
So you're saying men cannot ask for engagement rings back? Is that what you're saying?
In this context.
In this context.
In most contexts, to be honest.
That's where you lost me.
In most. Because let me tell you why. Because like an engagement ring is a gift to solidify a relationship, right? So then when you think about it like that, I hate when people when they get like they get a divorce or they end a relationship, they start hating their past person, you know? Because I think it was every person that is brought into your life is a test from your creator, and you should love the moments and the time that you guys spent together, even if you guys ended, you know?
Yeah.
So for you to kind of want to take back what you created during that time period, especially something as symbolic as a ring,
yeah,
I think it's something to remember that person by, you know, like. And another thing is, I don't think once you give somebody a gift, it's your right to take back that gift. It's not yours anymore. It's
I
not
disagree.
yours. At what point?
I disagree.
It's not your ring.
I think that an engagement ring is more like a promise ring. It's like, I promise to be with you.
But you're married.
And if you're breaking the promise, if you're not going to get married, then give me that shit back. Spend money on it.
But that's not your right call to make. Like, imagine I gave you a car and you and I got in a fight. Am I going to say, give me my car back?
Because I need that car, though. Do you need the ring?
No, but I gave you that car. It's your car. Like, it's under your name.
Yeah.
Why would I don't have the right under law to ask for that car back?
Yeah.
That's the big piece right there.
Yeah.
He was an idiot for putting it legally.
Well,
Yeah.
even if
He
morally,
shouldn't.
Yeah, morally, thank you. You get it. Guys,
listen,
I'm disappointed.
I think in this conversation specifically, since it's a family heirloom going to his son,
Yeah.
I would agree that he's the asshole for asking for it back, because you're just gonna take it from your son and give it to your daughter. Like, what's the difference?
difference.
You know, like, it's still in your
Just
family.
wants the power.
Yeah, I think he's trying to be controlling over his ex-wife, and that's where I disagree. But I disagree with what you're saying by engagement rings are gifts.
it's not.
I don't think they're gifts. I
Yeah.
think they're a promise to be with somebody, and if you go back on that promise, you should give back the ring.
Interesting.
That's just how I feel.
But what?
I disagree with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I disagree.
Give me your
Okay,
read, yeah.
it's a promise. Okay, but it's usually who is breaking the promise. If the one who gave the engagement ring breaks the promise, and then they want the ring back, it's like, let me just have that at least. You broke my heart.
But I don't.
Keep the engagement ring.
But to break an engagement means that you don't agree with something that the person is doing, or the person's lifestyle, or something along the lines broke that union, and the only thing that was signifying that union was the ring, right? So to ask for it back to me is like saying, okay, this isn't going where I want it to go. Now let me get this back from you. That's where the symbolic part comes to me, where it's like, I'm taking back the symbolism of our relationship. Give me back the ring.
That was heavy.
The floor is open for disagreements. Please, I want to be informed.
I disagree with you with the idea of what a ring stands for. I think
An
that's
engagement ring.
Yeah, no, a ring, because
Just-
they were
we're
married.
talking, but just talking about an engagement ring.
But
right?
they're talking about even. I think that's gray area. But I'm talking about for this particular Am I the Asshole?
Mhm.
They were married.
Yeah.
So that was a ring that he gave her.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I think symbolically, you and I differ with our opinions as to what that ring stands for. For me, that ring means, like, during the time that we're married, this is the symbolic reason as to, like, our bond, our relationship, everything that we built together.
Right.
And if things go sideways, which may happen, I want you to remember this as a piece of me when I'm not in your life anymore.
Right.
That's how I see a ring.
Beautiful.
For you, correct me if I'm wrong, but for you, a ring it's a promise to have this term of, like, this relationship. And when this relationship ends, it's not meant for you to keep that ring any longer.
Right.
So I think we differ in terms of what we think a ring stands for. you
Well,
know?
I think there's also a difference for me between a wedding ring and an engagement ring, right? Because
Okay.
when you're wearing like a wedding band or something like that, it's more just like, okay, this is my significant other. We're married to each other.
For sure.
That's for kind of like for show, right? But an engagement ring, I'm talking about like the engagement period. This is aside from the scenario we're talking about now. The period of engagement, if that is received with acceptance, like, yes, I accept your engagement proposal, I want to get married to you, and then down the line that doesn't happen, then it's like, okay, you went against on your promise. You know, that's where I'm thinking it of as more of a transactional thing rather than a gift, you know, because like I feel like when you get married and you're actually married with somebody, then it's like, okay, now what's mine is yours. This is a gift to you, you know, as opposed to like, this is our contract or this is our agreement, you know, and this is going to signify the ring.
But I feel like to break off the engagement, it shouldn't disregard all the efforts that were put into reaching that engagement. And the ring is a representation of, like you said, we built all of this together.
Right.
I see you as my person. You are deserving of this.
Right.
Right. So even if you do let go of that viewpoint of this is my person, like things happen, even if it's not something substantial like cheating, you guys just aren't on the same page, just out of like respect. Because we're still, if you fall out of love for somebody, it doesn't mean you have to lose respect.
Right. Right.
Or, you know, you don't perceive them as a good person anymore, etc. You lose value in them. And that them keeping the engagement ring still shows them that I still have profound respect for you and what we created, even though this is no longer what I want.
Right.
Right. Like as a woman, if I was in that situation, God forbid, but if I was in that situation and I received that message of, okay, this is over, but like also give me back the engagement ring. It's like, so all that time was not worthwhile. Like I deserve something, at least something.
I disagree with that. Respectfully.
Okay, respect.
I disagree with that because I don't think after a relationship is over, you should hold on to anything or not necessarily hold on. I don't think that there should be expectations after you break up. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when you separate with somebody, right? you separate entirely, right? I feel like even with being friends with exes and stuff like that are kind of harmful to some degree, right? Because there may not be the same levels of connection on both sides, right? So I just think that with asking for the engagement ring back is more like withdrawing entirely. You know, it's like, okay, I saw you as this type of person. It didn't work out in the fashion that we wanted it to. So now let me retract and let me redo this with someone else down the line, you know? So it's like, that's where I don't think that the engagement ring is more.
You know why I disagree with you, brother? Because so in this scenario, you're like and you correct me if I'm wrong. You think the ring is yours the entirety of the time and you're loaning it out. That's how I think it. And then later, when things don't end the way you want it to end, you take your loan back. It's like you're a bank.
It's a contract to me. It's not a loan because I'm not giving you something. You're just getting like a rock.
So
pretty much,
you think it's your property.
It's a contract to me. It's like an agreement.
But if you could take something away from somebody, it was never theirs in the first place.
Well, it's supposed to be ours, you know, like it's symbolizing our relationship together. If there's no relationship, there should be no ring.
But then that means at the end of the day, it goes back to the primary holder.
Right.
So which is you.
Right.
So it's your ring.
It's not his though. It's his
the
family's.
Well, for this scenario, okay, let me.
I think it's different.
Let me not, confuse us because this scenario, I truly think this guy is an asshole because it's a family heirloom and it's going to his kids, it's not going to his significant other, and it's not going to his ex-wife, right? Yeah. So in this sense, that guy's just being a weirdo, right? But the bigger conversation I'm trying to have here is more so like, what does an engagement ring signify, right? Because you're saying it's more like a gift, like, okay,
it's a gift.
I really see you as this type of person, so here's this to symbolize that.
Correct.
Go ahead and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I see it more like okay, I chose you. You're the person that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And this is our contract. This is our, non-negotiable agreement. And if that's broken, then the symbolism is
you know how I see that as fam? It's like you're hired at a job and you sign a contract and you're getting paid X amount of money and you get fired or you leave the company and the company asks you for all the money you made.
I disagree though.
I think that's exactly how
I get you.
I think that's a bad example though, because I see it more like, I'm going to use your same scenario. You're hired at a company. Yeah. Let's say you're hired at a company where they ask you to be a delivery man and they give you a car. When you're fired, do you keep that car?
But that's different though.
How?
Because that was a tool that I needed. So I think a better example you could have used was if we had a house, then we divide that.
Okay.
Like that house would be either mine or yours, depending on who put in the money for it.
Right.
Because that's something that we both use. However, the money aspect of it is individualistic because you paid me.
Right.
I don't think a tool that the company owns is the same thing as a ring that I get to keep on my finger. You know what I mean?
Right. Because
one is a tool and one is some monetary value that I'm doing for the role, right? So that's why I compared the ring to the money because only one side is benefiting in a way. I'm not saying a ring is benefit, but when you give somebody money, you don't expect it back.
Right.
Similar to a way that if I was to give you a gift, I don't expect that gift back.
That's a strange example.
But I don't think it's I don't see the correlation because I'm seeing an engagement ring is something. A, it's going to be costly, right? You're going to spend money on it, right? B, it's for something. It's not necessarily just to give to you. It's like I'm getting down on one knee. I'm asking you, will you marry me? If you say no, then what am I supposed to do?
That's
just hand you the ring?
That's different though. That's
okay, but that's different because. Are you talking about you're proposing and then the woman?
I'm talking about the engagement portion, not a marriage, right? Like you guys are getting engaged to each other. I'm going out of my way to get a ring to put on your finger for you to be my wife eventually, right? So it's like that. Once that agreement is broken, I feel like then that's where the ring becomes like a possession of yours. It's like, okay, I wanted you to hold this and wear it with honor, but since you don't want to wear it and you don't want to be my wife.
Okay.
Let me not give it to you.
If the person doesn't want to be your partner,
yeah,
that's the context you're speaking about?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Well, if the person refuses, of course.
Right.
But I don't believe that if you're already engaged and then maybe you see you guys just don't mesh, like it
well,
happens.
yeah, that too. That's another example,
that's where we differ. I feel like good riddance. Keep it. It's okay. You don't lose anything. I mean, you did invest money, but remember, it's symbolic.
Right.
For you to still carry that on and then to give it to your next partner, I think that's strange.
No, but for that, it's a family heirloom though. So that's where
Okay,
that,
I'm taking it
that's
out of the
different.
context.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if-
No, I
For-
hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear
for
what you're
engagement ring, yeah. If it's for that, you bought it for that purpose.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Then he should just leave that,
Come
let
on.
that be. But if there's a meaning behind the ring, then they should like give it back and let that.
Oh, you feel like for the original
No, for this purpose, if
exactly.
like right now we don't know why they separated, right?
Yeah, they said it was mutual.
It was mutual.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like I'm putting myself at the girl's perspective. If this guy's coming back to us, I think the phrase he used earlier, I really like though. He disassociated
Yeah.
from that first family.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens in a lot of situations where you're with the current girl, you have a baby with that person. Now we're involved in this, and you guys to the side.
Yeah.
Where in that case, if that's the case, and I'm looking now for a new partner, and that we're gonna start our own family.
Mm.
If he wants to disassociate, I wouldn't want to hold on to that though.
Fair enough. I mean, it's an interesting conversation to have. I'm gonna just say just off the bat, I think this guy is the asshole.
Yeah.
Right. Just for this scenario,
I think
but
we all agree with that.
Yeah.
are we all in
Yeah.
agreement with that? But just for the bigger conversation, I just think, well, let's ask the audience. Do you think women should have the right to carry or hold the engagement ring after the fact, or do you think men should have the right to ask for it back? Let us know. I want to know because we're kind of split here.
I think you have the right to ask,
50-50.
but I don't think you have the right to take it back. If she says, "Yo, this is mine,"
Well, what are you gonna do?
I think
if
you
she
leave
says
it at
no?
that.
You're gonna steal it?
No, I just
Oh.
You
no,
just
I
gotta
just
just
feel
live with
like-
it. You just gotta live with it.
No. Some
Like I
people.
said, good riddance.
Yeah,
Well, my question is more so: is it wrong to ask?
I think it's wrong to ask.
I don't
but
think
I'll
it's
leave it
wrong
at
to
that.
ask, though.
Fair enough.
Terrible.
I think it's
Don't do it.
perfectly. I think it's perfectly okay.
From a woman's perspective, it's just like. Ugh.
No, I
Like,
respect
it's
that
just-
opinion 100%.
yeah.
But he's
I
willing
want to
to
know
make
what
you
a
say,
woman
"Oh."
thinks about that.
If you guys are separated, he's willing to make you say, "Oh." I think that's
I mean, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
If we ended off on mutual terms, like it's painful nonetheless.
Mhm.
But for you to come back and be like, actually, give me back the engagement ring. It's like you're really just ending my life.
I don't believe them when they say mutual though.
It's
But why is it
harsh.
ending your life? I'm
It's
so
like-
confused about that part.
It's not a question of I still love you as a person, but
Mhm.
it's like we can't ignore memories and we
Right.
can't ignore the fact that we've invested so much time in something.
Mhm.
Engagement rings in general
Mhm.
they hold significance. It's symbolic.
Right.
I understand you should detach from like your past,
Mhm.
but if something was so significant to you and if you've invested so much time, you should see something in return. Like in the Islamic perspective, when we think of like dowry, for example, there is a serious reason why you need to put in a dowry before you commit to somebody,
Right.
right? There's value in providing financial or, jewelry sort of exchange when you're engaging with somebody.
Mhm.
And I think we're not supposed to, even if you cut off a marriage, you're not supposed to expect for that back.
Definitely.
I think
not.
so.
Yeah, definitely not.
So, and it would be questionable for you to go and ask for it back,
Right.
right? If you consummate the marriage, if you're maybe in it for like 3-4 years, if you have kids,
Mhm.
like let her have something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's 100% respectable. I think that with materialism, like it's no reason to be stuck on like this is mine or like give me that back or anything like that. But I just think with the engagement ring specifically, I just think that it's very unhealthy. This is just my perspective. But I
Yeah.
think it's very unhealthy to hold on to items or material goods from past relationships, whether they were good or bad,
Mhm.
just because it could have a false sense of reality in your head, you know?
Mhm.
So I feel like the full detachment is probably the best way to go. That's just my opinion. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody's different, right?
Mhm.
I think full detachment is the best way to go to give yourself a better chance in the future to have that type of commit or relationship again, right? So that's my reasoning behind the whole give back the ring. But I'm very open to the debate here. This is very interesting.
You're wrong,
It's
brother.
interesting.
Nobody's wrong.
I'm
Man.
joking. I'm joking. No, I just like we're gonna wrap up, but I just see it as like you said it like it's unhealthy, right?
Mhm.
And I agree with you. How many conversations have we had where it's like when somebody is an ex, you shouldn't keep that person in your life anymore. We've had that conversation so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, it's a little different when that person has been in your life for a long period of time where they have been there for a lot of experiences, a lot of moments, a lot of hardships, a lot
Right.
of blessings,
Mhm.
And I'm not like the ring idea of it. The reason why I would never ask back is because it's my way of saying, I hope, even though you and I go our own separate ways, this ring, you think of happy moments of us when we were together. You know, because I'm not gonna, like, I don't think the idea of deleting somebody out of your mind is healthy, because that person was there for you. Like, they were in your life for a moment of time, and even though things didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, it was there, you know, and because of them, you are the person who you are today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that ring, to me at least, it symbolizes all that we went through together. And I hope when you look at it, you're not going to wear it anymore because we're not together. But I hope when you look at it, when you open up your jewelry box, I hope you remember the great moments we had. You know,
Very well
It-
said.
like, you know, just because we're not together doesn't mean we don't have to be. We have to hate each other, right?
Right.
So that's just my opinion.
No, we're very well said. I mean, I still disagree, but I mean, just not. No, I'm 100% very receptive to what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense to me. No, my reason for disagreeing is the reason it is. But to be honest with you, I very much enjoy these conversations. It's bringing a lot more information to me. I didn't know you were like that. Didn't know you were very much a symbolism guy.
It's different when there's a lot of time. Like, when there's a lot of time dedicated,
Yeah.
I think it's important to keep that, because it's like, I am very, like, I have moments of my life, like, symbolically, I have items dedicated to certain aspects of my life. Like, the first job I ever had,
Right.
like the first relationship I was ever in,
Right.
like every big milestone I've ever had, I've kept like little things. And
Mhm.
even though like they don't hold the same weight as they used to, sometimes when I look at them, I remember the good things that were there for me.
No,
You know?
that's incredible.
Like I remember, we're gonna wrap up. I remember the very first email I ever got from a contract for the city for a job offer. It was in 2018. I tagged that, like, you know, when you pin something at the very top.
Put her
of
at the
email?
top of the email list.
Every time I open up my emails,
I
I
made
see
it.
my very first contract ever.
That's
You
the
know,
best.
and that was, what is it, 6-7 years ago?
Mm.
But I remember that was the moment where I turned around and told my mom,
Right.
I can help around the house.
Yeah.
You know, I have,
Mhm.
and that email to me like symbolizes individualism in my life, because that was when I was stopped making minimum wage and started making a decent living.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
and to that point, to translate it back to here,
Mhm.
that ring, even though that ring, similar to my email, may not mean as much anymore,
Mhm.
I still want people to remember the moments that was associated with the time that email came in.
Mhm.
Definitely.
I was jumping up and down,
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I hope when she sees that ring, she thinks of the moments when I proposed to her
Mhm.
and the happiness that we kind of were together with, you know?
Let's leave it on that. But I will say that my form of symbolism for that ring is different. We
Okay,
could end it off there.
fair,
Right?
Fair enough.
fair.
The Coffee Break Podcast, everyone.